buffet anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2278, 2278. Mike Matthews here in Podcastro Valley. Hello.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
This has been an interesting day. I hope your day has been great. You know what I have to say? I have to say, sometimes you get a little bit whisked away by your stuff that you own. And it takes up every moment that you know because you've got your stuff and you're trying to protect your stuff. And then you have dreams.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
About people stealing your stuff. Last night I had this very strange dream that I was at a coffee place.
Mike's
like a coffee shop
Daily
or a coffee house.
Podcast.
Having a coffee. And for some reason, I had a very large bag with me with all my possessions. And I even had a computer tower for a PC sitting next to me. And suddenly I see sitting across the room is Steve Perry of the band Journey. And he says something to a friend of his that, hey, I smell this candy. There's a type of I smell Texan candy. Yeah. Ooh, wouldn't that be cool if Steve Perry took over the band Marcy's Playground? It was Marcy Playground, not Marcy's Playground, right? There's no S involved. At any rate, there's only like 3 people that were alive in the 90s that know what I'm talking about. So, what was that song later? So, Steve Perry he smells a candy of some sort. And he's asking his friend about it. And I, for some reason, I never have candy on me, by the way. I am pretty much opposed to candy. I like chocolate, but not like the Skittles and all that stuff. That might be your favorite thing. Sorry. So I, for some reason, have some in my pocket. And I go over and I hand them to Steve Perry. I go, yeah, that's probably what you're smelling. And he goes, oh, okay. And then his friend is talking about the 70s and about music from the 70s, and I don't know that much.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I know some stuff from the 70s, some music from the 70s, but he's going into all kinds of like dance and funk and stuff that I don't know. And so I go, okay, well, nice meeting you. And I walk back over to my table, and all my stuff is gone. My computer tower, my bag that had all my stuff. And I go outside. I run outside. I'm like wondering, where's my stuff? And then I notice that the place has a bouncer. And I say to the bouncer, hey, do you know what happened to my stuff? He goes, yeah. I go, well, can I get it back? And he goes, well, and I should have had Basil the Boxer with me because he would have intimidated the guy and he would have given my stuff back. Oh, the late, great Basil the Boxer. And the podcast picture, by the way, is of, not of Basil, but from 8 years ago, I took a wonderful cruise on the Sausalito Ferry. And I took a cool picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. You can see that at mikesdailypodcast.com. And all my past podcast pictures. But yes, I'll have a podcast picture of the late, great Basil the Boxer soon. But, so, this guy... so I say to the bouncer, yes, where's my stuff? How can I get my stuff back? And he goes, well, every item of stuff that we took will cost you $500 to get back. And it'll take up to 6 weeks for you to get it back. Wow, it sounds like it is like a cyber hacking or something. Holding my stuff hostage. And I said to him, you know what? You just keep it. Thanks. And then I woke up. What a dream to wake up from. But maybe we shouldn't be so worried about our stuff, right? That there's all kinds of biblical connections to this. And not just Christianity, but a lot of other religions. But, we shouldn't be possessed by our possessions. You've heard it over and over again. Okay. The pandemic. Hasn't come back because of the COVID variant and all that. Do you know that there's so many lasting changes from the pandemic? And some of us thought, we're going to go back to work now because we've been vaccinated. And we're all, turns out, nope. There was a bunch of people that said, we're not going to get vaccinated. And they had a myriad of reasons and conspiracy theories, so they don't want to get vaccinated. And those of us that are nice and friendly and want us all to get along say things like, oh, it's their prerogative if they don't want to get vaccinated because it's a free country and they can do it or not do it. It's up to them. And you shouldn't force it and shouldn't mandate anyone to take a vaccine. And then there are some of us that go, oh, nope, if you want to participate in society, you better get vaccinated. But I'm not really one of those people. I will say, though, if you're not going to be vaccinated and you catch the COVID-19, you basically you left yourself open for it. And why you thought you were going to get through life without even catching it, maybe you didn't even believe it existed, then there's your wake-up call. Here's your sign. But yeah, you know that, I know that, we all know that. What are the changes that are happening because of COVID-19? A lot of changes happened to the housing market. Multi-unit development such as apartments, condos, and townhomes were impacted. Associations are looking to provide COVID-friendly features to commonly shared spaces. This includes touchless entry systems, high-quality air filters, and common areas where social distancing are more practical. But is social distancing a thing if we're all vaccinated? Exterior spaces are also undergoing reconfiguration as it is becoming increasingly necessary for those being cooped up inside for long periods of time have quality outside space to go to where they can also adequately distance themselves from others who may be out at the same time. Thank you, person that wrote that. Now, perhaps you're saying to yourself, I don't know exactly how helpful that article was, but things are changing and going back to the same. It's weird with the whole people going back. I better go back home. That being said, I'm going to go to work tomorrow and be in the office. And I'll wear a mask in the elevator, but pretty much everyone I work with, I think, is vaccinated. But I'm vaccinated. We'll see. It's a strange new world, though, isn't it? So, maybe you're just thinking about you want to become a vegan. Veganism is trending. Maybe you want to switch to a vegan diet to help prevent the exploitation of animals, or to improve your health, to promote a green planet. Here are some tips. You likely already have some vegan meals in your repertoire already, along with vegetarian meals that could be veganized. That would be like a bean-based chili, or pasta and veggie. Is pasta really vegan, though? Don't they use eggs in pasta? I guess you can get the vegan type pasta. Stir fries, lentil stew. Consider experimenting with jackfruit. Ooh, that's that bizarre looking thing. With a texture similar to meat, this fruit can replace pork, beef, and chicken in recipes and has 3 grams of protein per serving. You can start with 1 meal a day. Committing to 1 plant-based meal per day is a great start. You might try breakfast. Hot or cold cereal with fruit, nuts, and non-dairy milk will fuel your morning. Perhaps even a smoothie. For weekend brunch, make an egg substitute veggie omelet. The pseudo bacon made from tempeh or soy, and plant-based yogurt on the side. Think proportions. Ease into vegan living by gradually upping the amount of plant-based foods on your plate and decreasing the amount of meat, eggs, and dairy. And do your homework. You can read about veganism, join online forums, talk with longtime vegans, move to the Bay Area where so many vegans all around, watch documentaries on living with plant-based life, and find local shops and restaurants that offer vegan products and entrees. When you shop for groceries, examine the ingredients. Not all vegan products are labeled vegan, and some items you think will pass the test don't. Some pasta has egg in it, for instance, and some cornbread mixes contain animal fat. Vegans need to be sure to get enough of vitamin B12 and D, omega-3s, iodine, iron, calcium, and zinc. There's supplementation for that, exposure to sun. And this from the magazine Taste for Life. And getting rid of that right now. What I agree with particularly in that article, though I do eat meat from time to time, I think that we don't eat nearly as many fruits and vegetables as we need to as a diet in America. We need to eat more of that. Eat less starch, less carbohydrates, and less meat. Well, I'm not saying don't cut it out, but I'm saying we need to do more of the vegetables and fruits. Now, my mom made this point yesterday. If vegetables aren't fattening, then how do you explain an elephant? Baby, elephants are big. I wouldn't say they're fat, and they don't eat meat, but they love them some vegetables. They must eat a lot of vegetables. All right, we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. I hope this podcast was somewhat of a diversion today. Going to be kind of a short podcast. Look who's here. Hello, Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I've never been to Sausalito. Oh, it's nice. You can go there and you can walk around the shops. And then what I like to do is walk down to where all the houseboats are. Those are rather interesting. And definitely very Northern California, very Sausalito is what I was trying to say. Very Sausalito, and they're cool. Okay, Mike Matthew. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. So this Monday was good for you? You know, how can you say any Monday is good? Mondays just generally have this thing about them. As Douglas Adams said, I never could get the hang of Mondays. Or he put that in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and that's a pretty funny line. So enjoy your day however way you can, because it's a Monday. And thank you for listening to the podcast. Tell your friends about it. I got the Podomatic thing fixed, by the way. Podomatic was being such a pain. And now it's allowing me to upload podcasts again. So if for some reason you listen to this podcast through that, you can again. You can. It's allowing me again to upload podcasts. But you can tell me what you think about anything we covered. 336MM Daily. That's 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast tries to be. You know, I think I might have talked about vegan stuff before, and I got a recipe from Sylvia, who I know is a vegan, and she was really happy that I brought up this topic. So I should have looked that up. It's buried deep in my emails because she sent that to me like a year ago. At any rate, maybe we'll hear from Sylvia. But I could hear from you too, 336MM Daily. And now, with other ways to contact me, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
And that was episode 2278. You can catch all the past podcasts at mikesdailypodcast.com.